The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Tualatin Valley Fire, Oregon, on new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 38662. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation. Starting first at the face of the front bumper, you'll find your electronic siren. Dual speakers on the outer edge of the frame rail. As you move over to the driver's side, you'll find your mechanical siren. Just on the bumper extension top side, you'll find a D handle will gain you access into the forward hose load storage area, along with a swivel discharge on the driver's side. Moving up to the cab face, you'll find your turn indicator marker light. Alongside, you'll find your headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights. High beam is on the inside. Emergency warning light forward facing. As we move to the outer edge, you'll find your mirror housing a flat and convex mirror. Moving up to the officer side, you'll also find a downward facing convex mirror. And in the center, you'll find a forward facing scene light. Moving to the brow of the apparatus, you'll find 5 identification clearance lights. And then located on the roof is where you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Let's move around to the driver's side of the vehicle, where you'll find your lower zone emergency warning lights, one on the front bumper, rear portion of the cab, and over wheel. There are also 3 side-facing scene lights on the passenger and driver's side, along with an LED water tank level indicator at the rear portion of the cab. As we move to the very rear of the apparatus, you'll find an emergency warning light 360 degree. As we move to the front axle, you'll find Alcoa wheel, a visual sight gauge into the center of the axle, along with easily accessible door handles that do lock. Grab handles located for 3 points of contact when gaining entry into the cab. As we move to the very bottom section, just underneath the door area, you'll find your jumper studs for positive and negative. General view here of the pump panel, we'll come back to that in just a few moments. We'll move on to the body section, where you'll find folding wheel chocks, 1 in front and 1 to the rear of the axle. You'll also find a lift and turn latch, which will gain you access into 3 SCBA bottle storage location, and then also your DEF and fuel fill location just to the rear of the axle, along with a marker turn indicator arm. Let's move to the rear of the apparatus, where you'll find your cluster housing an emergency warning, brake, turn, and reverse light. There are also fold-down steps to gain access to go aloft. Moving now into the rest of the body, you'll find emergency warning lights, 1 in each cluster, and then also 2 rear-facing near the backup camera. Rear-facing scene lights located and recessed in the upper portion of the body, along with your emergency warning lights at the very top section. As we move now into the lower section, D handle gains you access into the lower compartment storage, along with your backup camera in the center. Moving to the outer edge, you'll find a 2.5-inch discharge on the passenger and driver side rear. Moving around to the passenger side, full view, the exhaust is located on this side. Also, you'll find your ladder rack accessible on this side of the vehicle also. Let's move to the pump panel area next, general view, and we'll come back to a few items within this space. As we move to the cab portion next, we'll identify a few items within this area that are different than on the driver's side. First, you have a side-facing camera, and then also access here into the cab lift area behind the pan door. Full view of all compartments open on the driver's side, along with all compartments open on the passenger side. We'll now take a look at the front of the apparatus. You can see the hosed storage location. D handle once again gains you access into this space. Moving to the outer edge, you have a front discharge swivel. Moving to the cab area, we'll start by moving into the driver's side of the vehicle, starting first with the door panel. We do have additional warning and safety placard information on the door panel, along with your electric locks and window control. There is also manual lock and also your door release latch located in the upper section. As we move inside the cab, when the door is opened, the step will auto deploy. Inside the cab area, you'll find the air inlet and also shoreline power. As we move to the dash, you'll find your dim, ignition, headlights, and ignition switch. You'll also find a yellow placard indicating the height of the vehicle, length of the vehicle, and gross vehicle weight rating. In the center, you'll find your tachometer and speedometer. On the outer edge, you'll find your amperage, and then also your, volts and water temperature. Down at the very bottom section, you'll find fuel, def, oil, transmission, front air, and rear air. Moving now to the center column. And then down in the lower left-hand side, about the left knee, you'll find your master battery switch and also diagnostic ports. On the right side, backup alarm, load manager, OK to engage the high idle, air dump. As we move overhead of the driver's seat, you'll find additional switches, first with emergency master, roof light, front warning, side warning, siren brake, lower rear warning, upper rear warning, and opticom. All of our passenger side and driver's side floodlights are located in this space. In the center, you'll find if flashing, do not move your apparatus. This is an indicator warning that you may have a compartment open or ajar. Moving just to the right full view, at the start at the top, you'll find your climate control for heat, air conditioning, and defrost. Just down from that, you'll find some switches for engine brake on and off, low, medium, and high on the settings, off-road traction, mirror heat, DPF regen, and regen inhibit. In the lower section, you'll find window control and cab door lock unlock. Just to the right of the operator, you'll find your MUX system display screen. It's a touch screen and also function button. Pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. These are the rear brakes. Allison transmission pad, push button digital readout, informational note, pump in drive. Moving to the lower right, you'll find your pump shift. There are instructions from road to pump and also from pump to road on the face placard. Just as a reminder, when engaged, you'll need 2 green lighters indicating pump engaged and OK to pump illuminating when exiting the cab. As we move to the right, flat mirror and convex mirror control. Moving down to the lower right-hand side, you'll find your flashlight location charging. As we move to the rear cab area, we'll start with the door panel, affixed to door panel, safety and warning placard information, door lock, and window control. Also, when the door is open, the step will auto deploy. Moving now just inside the cab, you'll find climate control air conditioning located at the very top, along with push on and off white or red lens lights. There are 2 rear-facing seats with fold-down lower sections. Located in the center, you'll find an EMS compartment and also refrigerator, along with forward-facing seats. Now viewing the driver's side rear-facing seat, along with your EMS compartment, there is shelving and LED lighting inside with a control switch on the lower left-hand corner. On the top section, you'll find 12-volt access via barrel style. Moving just to the right of this location, which is the passenger side, you'll find an additional seat located here. Forward-facing compartment along with your refrigerator located in the center. Top of the compartment, you'll see 12-volt access via USB-A. Overhead is your climate control. As we move down to the exterior, just to the rear of the cab area, you'll find backboard storage and then additional hose storage located in the pan door located here. General view of the pump panel will start in the upper left-hand corner in the gray module, starting first with your intake master and master discharge gauge. In between the two of those are the test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. They're currently plugged and are utilized for testing purposes. In the next gray area, you'll find engine information. Not only will you find gauges, you'll also find tally light information for check engine and stop engine. Further to the right, you'll find your pump overheat indicator and audible alarm. Just underneath that, you'll find an audible speaker. The outer edge of that bezel does rotate to allow for increased or decreased sound. As we move down to the lower left, you'll find the yellow master stream. This is the deluge discharge. You'll also find your pump OK indicator light, along with a DPF inhibit regen switch and visual indicator. As we move just to the right, you'll find your water tank level indicator. Moving further to the right, you'll find the Pump Boss pressure throttle governor. Please see the owner's manual for its operation. You'll also find just underneath that location an additional audible alarm, and to the very far right, the engine cooler. As we move down further, you'll find a push button for your air horn, along with your minimum operation maintenance plaque for test pressures at 150, 200, and 250 psi. Let's move further down on the pump panel. Starting on the left-hand side, you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharges, along with a pressure gauge. There is also an engine diagram for the location of those discharges. As we move to the right, you'll find the driver number 1 and driver number 2 discharge, red and blue in color, and then also a warning placard indicating pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. You do have an electric valve which controls the large diameter passenger side, and then also your rear discharge is located brown and white in color. Moving further to the right, you'll find the fire pump primer. It is a push-to-prime air prime, at least 1,000 RPMs for priming. You have your tank fill and recirculating line, and just below that, you'll find your tank to pump. You'll also find a warning placard located within this area indicating warning, fall hazard, do not climb onto the vehicle or off the vehicle while the vehicle is in motion. In addition with, when climbing on or off the vehicle, always face the vehicle. Warning here indicating only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment only after proper training, along with your 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet locally controlled via the ball valve. You do have a garden hose outlet located here, and all of your color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Moving down to the lower right corner of the pump panel, you'll find the master pump drain, along with an air outlet. There is a regulator involved in that that's running on truck air. And then just beneath that, you'll find the manual pump shift, along with your minimum operation maintenance schedule placard. As we move to the running board, you'll find a cutout section here for hose storage. Moving on now to the body section, first compartment on the driver's side. In the upper forward compartment, you'll find the S1 for shoreline power breaker box. Just underneath that, you'll find 12-volt DC via barrel style and also USB-A. Moving down the very bottom, a pull-out tray release located on the right. Throughout the compartment, you'll find a ventilation system. Moving now to the over wheel compartment, where you'll find a tool board. D-handle gains you access to the back sides. It will lock into position. Forward of the axle, you'll find SCBA bottle storage with retaining straps, along with Michelin tires and Alcoa wheel on the rear axle. Moving now just to the rear of the axle, ultra low sulfur diesel fill location. It's the silver cap. As you move the flap downward, it exposes the 8-gallon DEF tank, which is the blue cap. There's also some caution and warning placard information within this area. As we move down to the rear portion of the tool board, on the hinge side there is a lock mechanism along with a tool board on the rear wall. Moving now to the last compartment on the driver's side, pull-out tray in the lower section, release located on the right, along with 2 adjustable shelves in the upper portion. To the rear of the apparatus, we'll start first on the lower left and right side, where you'll find some warning placard information. First, warning, fall hazard, never ride on the vehicle while it's in motion. Also, warning placard here, pressure hazard, caps may be under pressure, be cautious when opening them. And also warning, never ride on the vehicle, once again, when it's in motion, and then also when facing the vehicle is how you should climb on and off the vehicle. 3 hose bed dividers in the very rear back section. They are movable, along with your backup camera and also a warning placard here indicating entanglement hazard because the line's coming from aloft. As you move to the rear lower compartment, warning placard here that is not a stepping surface, along with a warning once again about pressure hazard. As you move around to the passenger side of the vehicle, you'll find 2 adjustable shelves in this area. Also, shoreline outlet. When plugged into shoreline power, this outlet will be active. As we move now to the over wheel compartment, an adjustable shelf, and then also ventilation. This is also the location for the timer for your ventilation system throughout the compartments. You also have an additional fuel location here for driver and passenger side fuel, along with your equipment rack hydraulic reservoir. As we move to the rear axle, once again, Michelin tires and Alcoa wheel. This is also the location for your diesel exhaust. Extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist. That's why we have this warning placard here. Be cautious where you park your vehicle, especially during regen operation. Moving up, you'll find SCBA bottle storage. And now into the forward compartment, once again, adjustable shelving, dry deck material in all compartment spaces. At the very top section forward wall, you'll find your inverter, 12-volt access via barrel style and USB-A. There's also shoreline outlets located within the compartments. You'll find those on the rear portion of this compartment. As we move to the pump panel area, we'll start first in the upper left-hand corner. This is the location of an access panel. Looking into the right side of the access panel is where you'll find your powered equipment rack. This is to raise and lower your ladders. There are instructions for its operation. If there is a failure to occur, there is a manual hydraulic pump located on the lower left-hand side. Pulling the flap down exposes the location for the pump mechanism. Also, a warning placard here indicating fall, never ride on the vehicle while it's in motion, along with an additional warning placard indicating pressure hazard, caps may be under pressure. Also, location for your large diameter discharge and a 2.5-inch discharge on the passenger side. Large diameter inlet, and then also an auxiliary inlet, 2.5-inch, locally controlled via the ball valve, along with all the color-coded and labeled discharge drains. As we move in now to the cab section on the passenger side, once again, the step will auto-deploy when the door is opened. Just as a reminder, we do have safety and warning placard information on the door panel, along with window control and door locks. Overhead, push on and off white or red lens lights, and then also your air conditioning unit. Forward-facing seat on the rear wall, and then also in the very center, you'll find an EMS compartment or storage area along with your refrigerator. Let's move now back to the exterior. We'll start at the front axle. Michelin tires, Alcoa wheel, visual sight gauge into the center of the axle. As we move now into the officer space, once again, the door will open and the step will auto deploy. All of the instructions regarding warning and safety placard information are fixed here on the door panel, along with window control and door lock, and also your door latch. Moving in now into the space, you'll find in the lower section a remote light and then also a foot pedal for your mechanical siren. As we move just to the left of the operator's seat here on the right, which is your captain's seat, you'll find 12-volt access via USB-A. And then also as we move just to the left of the seat, you'll find your access for oil and transmission dipsticks. As we move to the front bumper side, you'll find your cab lift controls. Also some caution warning placards in this area regarding folding steps must be in the upward position. As we move to the very top section of the apparatus, let's start first a fully enclosed diamond-plated area. At the very rear, you'll find your hose bed. Once again, 4 hose bed dividers. Moving now to the forward section or dunnage area. This is the fill location for your water tank. D-handle also gains you access into this compartmented space on the top of the dunnage area. Moving to the forward section where you'll find your master stream discharge. Wheel valve located here on the top section. As we move to the forward section of the cab, you'll find we do have some warning placard information indicating that this is a non-walking surface. As we move now through the images, these are additional chassis photos for your reference point. No additional audio will be carried from this point on. Congratulations, Tualatin Valley Fire and Rescue, Oregon, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 38662. If you have any questions regarding your vehicle, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.